Live.
Hello.
Hello, chat. Hello, everybody. Oh my God, there's a ton of people here. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome. Welcome in.
I love that cheesy.
So
Died.
You died.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
That early.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Welcome In for our premiere of. Oh my God, Sassy, stop! I'm trying. Yeah, no. I love you, sweetie. That's
It's our mascot.
We're off to a great start.
It's the tavern familiar. It's the tavern cat.
The Tavern Cat really wants to hang out. Welcome to Highlight Heroes, our premiere, featuring Sarahiscoffee.
Hello. It's me.
So excited, and of course Parkerbliss, who's always here. So essentially what we're doing with this series is that Parker and I are going to sit down with D&D community members who are awesome and impactful, like Sarah, and we're going to paint minis, and we're going to ask them questions, and we're going to learn all about them. Like, what's your favorite color, Sarah? I put her on the spot.
Green.
Green? Okay, cool. Good. See, cutting edge questions like that.
Like
God, you gotta throw me some softballs, Josh.
That was if that's the hard question for you, we're in for a night.
It's gonna be great.
Fun.
So I've already kind of made introductions, but if you guys just want to share your socials and stuff like that, then we'll share our minis and we'll go from there.
Awesome.
Sarah, go.
Cool. I am Sarahiscoffee on TikTok and Sarah Chafers on Twitter, which I'm thinking of changing because it's hard to spell.
Fair. Hi, I'm Parkerbliss on literally everything social media, and I am always here.
You are always here, and I am TheGovnar, aka Josh. TheGovnar, I think, on pretty much everything now, because my friends were like, "Stop being confusing." So I stopped. So, all right.
But it was me. It was the targeted me.
You're my friend, Parker.
I
That's
know.
what you need to take from that.
It's like
Perfect.
compliment, but a little bit of a threat.
Yeah, shade, compliment. So, what
Both.
minis do we have today, guys? Parker, Sarah, what do you?
Oh,
Sarah, please.
there we go.
I'm channeling a lot of extra awkward today.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Wonderful.
Listen, we are nerds and D&D people, so we're awkward by trade. This is a beautiful little Medusa caster. It was between her and Medusa fighter, and this one was cool as heck. So I'm gonna paint her today.
She looks so cool. What are you going for color palette wise? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you thinking?
I think I'm gonna be, because like lore-wise, Medusa lives right at the edge of the ocean in a cave, so I'm gonna go for like some aquatic tones and themes, I think.
Sick.
Cool.
Parker, what about you? What you got for us?
So for anybody watching for the first time, Josh and I have done one painting live before. For everybody's reference, I'm not a mini painter. Josh is. So I'm learning. So if you're not a mini painter, you can learn along with me. So last time I did this little guy, who is not really a mini, but he's working on it. I'm doing a wash. Did I say that right, Josh?
You did.
On him. I'm doing a wash on him, and then I might start. This is the character I played in my last campaign. Her name was Elianis, but she's this is a Hero Forge mini of my character, so.
Elianis. Okay, beautiful.
Elianis.
All right. And I am painting in honor of Sarah's character, whom I get to play alongside every Friday night in the Rolling Tides campaign. I'm painting some barbarians. They're not specifically brayless, because I hope that Sarah plans to paint brayless, because I would love to see
Someday.
that. I've got some Barbary boys over here. If my camera is able to zoom on them, of course it can. This one is in one state. This has just had its washes complete. This one is awaiting some painting and then some washes as well, and I figured I can paint at those as we move along. So, yeah, should be exciting. All right, guys. Are we ready to do the painting part and the question part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Now, Parker, do we want to talk about the wash, or are you, like, good to go? Do you need, like, pointers from me before we do the...
I do actually need pointers from you
Okay.
before I try and do things, yeah.
Okay. So you got your paper,
Educational.
you got your paper towel,
Yes.
you got your water,
Yes.
you got something to put your wash onto off of your brush to kind of thin it off the brush a little bit.
Yes?
Okay, cool. So, essentially with a wash, this is like the most fun. You're gonna scare the hell out of yourself. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a thicker brush. They do have like shade brushes, wash brushes, which have denser bristles. They pick up a ton. They're gonna absorb all of the washes really thin. This is the painting part, guys. Sorry. We'll get through this. We'll talk to Sarah and do the interesting stuff in a minute. Here's the technical painting
exciting.
thing. Yeah. You're gonna take the wash. You're like a denser bristle brush. You're gonna dip it into that wash. You're gonna take it to your palette and work a little bit of it out so it's not completely saturated, but you still want it to be fairly wet. You can work a little bit of water in there if you want to. You don't need a ton of water. It just really depends on how dark you want that shade to be. Okay. And then you're just going to begin working that wash into all of the corners. Anywhere you want depth or for the mini to stand out, you're just going to paint that wash into there, okay? What it does is it's really thin, and it's going to pool into all of the corners and cracks, and it's going to highlight and define everything. The other thing that it does, which is amazing, is it covers up all your mistakes. If you have an unclean line, the wash will just completely wash that out. The washes are amazing. They are just the easiest thing on the planet to use. Don't be afraid of them.
Slightly better, because Sarah said that she was also learning, so...
Oh my gosh. Okay, I started painting minis to do TikTok lives, and I was so bad at it that I inspired another TikTok creator to publish a series of mini painting tutorials. RPG Factory, they're great. Go check them out.
Okay, RPG Factory.
I'm just gonna write that down so that I can go watch them.
That's
Be more
amazing.
informed next time.
I was like, you know what? If my terrible painting inspired something good, I'm happy.
Oh my god.
That's beautiful.
That's
Right?
perfect.
That's kind of like the D&D community summed up too. It's like, I got a skill set here. I can apply it.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
exactly.
Yeah. So that's how you do your wash. Then what you're essentially going to do once you've done with the wash is it's going to come in and pool in places that you don't want it to. You just paint back over those sections with the paint you used initially, right? And it just kind of clears that out. So like what I've done with this fella is he's had his washes done, and you'll see on some of the flesh tones, you probably won't because this camera's terrible, that what I want to do now is bring some of the lightness back in on the more raised portion. So I'm just going to take the color I already used, put that back in over it, and leave the wash in the dark grooves. It really defines everything on your mini. That's essentially how you use a wash. The only other tip I have is that the wash moves based on gravity. So if you want the wash to fill in a certain crack more, you can tip your mini in the direction that you want the wash to pool. That's it. Washes. Okay, let's do the interesting.
We all
The
learned
painting part.
something today.
Painting thing. Okay.
Sarah, do you want to ask the first question of Sarah? Sarah, can you ask yourself a question? I'm kidding. Parker, oh my god, my brain is shot.
I here.
You're like, I didn't,
Sarah,
I
this
didn't
is...
come prepared with my own.
Welcome to
I'll
the
ask
Sarah
myself
interviews herself.
existential questions all day.
You know, there's been weirder shows, I'm sure. We invited
like,
someone in to talk to themselves.
Yeah. You just do
It's
your
like
thing,
a
we'll paint
Zach
minis.
Galifianakis show between the
two
ferns. you were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have for a great interview, and then you're just like, you pranked, bro. Interview yourself.
It's just you, though. It's just you.
I hope you came prepared, because we sure didn't.
Oh my god. It's a lie. I promise.
Oh
That's-
yeah. Where?
We did actually. Well.
No. You're
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Cool. Do you want... All right. You want me to start? It's like the easiest, well, the most common question, I guess. But so while we paint these minis and I learn new things, how'd you get into D&D?
I actually got into D&D like a weird circuitous route, I guess. because I always thought it was interesting, but could never find anybody to play. And then somebody hit me up and they were like, hey, we're playing a Monster of the Week RPG. You want to join? And I was like, this is a gateway. I can get in this way. And we met up and we played for like 3 sessions and then it fell apart. And then I discovered podcasts. And I was like, this is my in, baby. And I listened to like 300 hours of podcasts. And then I grabbed my friends and I said, we're playing D&D. And I DM'd for like a long time. And that's how I got in.
Okay, but that is beautiful. Like, I think a lot of people are like terrified to like pick up the DM manual and DM themselves. And then they're like, I can't play D&D. And like, but seriously, like you can, right? Like, he's going to pick up, just do it.
Oh, absolutely. It's terrifying. And you're going to make 500 mistakes in your first session. And it does not matter. Like, it's just... the mistakes that you make while you DM, as long as you have players who are like good people, it doesn't matter. They're just like, we're just here to play, baby. And if you can just get the story, then you're all good. I think for the first 6 months I DM'd, did not understand how like spells worked in different classes. I was like, bards know them, but wizards know them differently, and I am gonna cry. But I still DM'd.
That is... I still don't know how spells work.
What podcast was it? Like, what was the first D&D podcast you were into?
Oh, God. You know what? The first one that I listened to, I can't actually remember the name of it. It was kind of like... I listened to 10, and then I started listening to Not Another D&D podcast. God, I love that show so much. Please, no spoilers in the comments. I'm like 3 episodes behind. I know they just finished their first campaign. But yeah, so that was the first one that like really caught my interest. And then I watched the hell out of some Dimension 20 a little further down the line. But I had already started playing at that point.
Those are... I've heard both of them, and I haven't watched either of them, but I've heard a lot of folks really enjoy both of those.
Brennan Lee Mulligan is a DM god. And every time I watch him, I'm like, taking notes. It's great.
All right, so that's how you got into D&D. What about mini painting? When you've kind of given us a little bit of a spoiler in like that process, but tell us more about your first mini painting experience.
Yeah, so I actually first started mini painting when I was on TikTok because I actually had just started playing my first campaign as a PC for about 6 months when I started being on TikTok. And it was amazing. And it was just such a dream to be able to be a player. And I made a TikTok about it. And then people were like, yes. And I said, yes. And then I could go live. And I was like, what am I going to do for these people? What content will I bring to them? So I went to my local game shop and I picked up like 10 minis and was just like, this is what we do now. And that's how I got into it.
I love that so
what
much.
we do now.
Yeah.
So what was your local game shop experience like? Like, were they helpful?
This one that I go to?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the best game shop in the world. I love it. I'm not going to say the name of it. But I have not had historically, I've been a nerd all my life, and I haven't historically had a great time with like comic book shops, game shops, stuff like that. So I always really track down the ones that I feel good in. And this one, I walked into it with a friend, and the minute I did, I was like, this is a good one. And so like that's the only one I go to. They host like weekly D&D games too, and like a bunch of other stuff. It's amazing. And they're super cool and helpful and really open to all ages of players. Like I've seen people in their 80s in there, and I've seen people who are like 8 in there. So it's an awesome place.
It's always a delight to find a kind of place that you feel like you could just do you. We got like a Warhammer place that there's so many game shops where I am, and I've been to a lot of them, but there's few where like, okay, I can hang out 6 hours here and like nobody's gonna glare at me or have a problem with my existence. Like they don't really, as long as I'm not like stealing merchandise or wasting time.
Making a problem, yeah.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, come hang out, do your thing.
Exactly. Yeah, my favorite thing about this one is that they regularly host sales of earlier editions of games. So you can pick up some great like first, second, third edition D&D material, which is my guilty pleasure. So, love it.
That's awesome.
Remind me after the stream, I'll show you all the first edition stuff that I have. If you like that sort of thing. My dad,
I do.
My dad is a big old nerd, which is how I got into it. And a lot of people, they're like, "Oh my god, you have that?" And I'm like, "Yes." Was this special? I was like,
Is this a thing that people want?
is this a thing?
So good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
How you doing? Hey,
it's
same.
going fine.
I like how Sarah's I'm like, okay, Parker, have fun. I'm never talking to you again. Sarah's like, so how's it going? Like, are you succeeding?
How's your life?
Are you covered in wash? That
I think it's going well. I started, so like, Josh has seen this before, but like when I do stuff, I start in the biggest places first. So like, I'm obviously doing his like wings first. But I like did some, and it's doing okay.
Oh, yeah.
Don't be shy.
I think it's
with it.
definitely gonna be a yeah.
Don't be shy.
I was recently told on the live that I was messing up painting mine because you're supposed to start from the bottom and work your way up. And I was like, didn't know that.
Who told
thank
you that? Who told you that?
Was I informed incorrectly?
Get out of here. That doesn't mean a dang thing.
Wow, I'm feeling so validated and also
Josh.
threatened right now.
But like, it's like happy validation.
Right. It's like, it's good validation, but I'm a little scared.
If you're wanting to, the only reason you would do that is if you're painting so quickly that you're going through sections that your paint is running downwards into other paint. But nobody should be painting that quickly. This paint you should be doing thin, and it should dry on its own pretty quickly. You shouldn't have to worry about running. So I'm not sure what they're painting. But sorry if you're in chat and I'm being mean to you.
Dark Fields. Oh yeah. Hi chat. I'm just gonna yell down at my phone. Hello. I have chat running on my phone. I usually like, check it, but my hands are busy.
I know, right?
Same.
I love this concept and I think it works, but it is also really funny to be like, hey, juggle knives while we ask you personal questions.
Amazing.
The secret is that it's just to make me look better.
I mean, if you want me to juggle knives, I can do that too.
Oh.
Hold on. Stop mini painting. Are you gonna juggle knives for us now?
You open this door.
May get banned from Twitch forever.
Shoot, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
Me hurting myself.
We want the welcome
but
in to be
I can.
That's impressive.
Can you really?
No. I can. I'm not.
Oh.
Good.
So you're saying like
I can throw one knife, I can throw two knives, and then after they come down, I don't know what's happening. But the throwing I've got.
It's all about juggling.
I think a part of the juggling process might be the catching them part as well. Otherwise, it's just fancy stabbing yourself, I think, maybe.
Stabbing yourself with extra.
With style. This is falling with style.
Woo.
Hey, chat. Don't juggle knives like that.
Don't juggle knives, chat.
Don't juggle knives, period. Not like that. Just
no way.
Period and less trained.
Favorite vine. What do you have? A knife. No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Amazing. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. So, next question for you. Josh, you want to do it?
Oh, I think, isn't it your turn? I'm pretty sure.
Is it my turn?
You're up.
We're going to talk about death.
Oh. This took a whole different turn.
Let's derail this.
So, on top of that there, what's your favorite class to play? And why?
amazing. My favorite class. So I feel honor bound to say that Paladin is my favorite class. Because I do love playing Paladins. So the reason I love them is because I feel like they're very versatile, and if you play their characters correctly, they don't have to be assholes. Which I think people normally shy away from Paladins because they're like, oh, those righteous sons of bitches. And it's like, no, like, someone can have a conviction and still be a good person and still, like, care about people. So I think if you play the character correctly, they're a little bit OP because they can cast and they can heal and they can stab real good. They can stab real good. So yeah, I love Paladins. That said, I don't often play like one class with every campaign that I'm given because I think I kind of take a DM approach to creating a character where I more look for what the party needs than like what I want to play. So, look.
That's
One thing I've noticed about DMs too.
Oh yeah?
Is like DMs tend to be like, okay, we're building a party, and then like you'll catch the DM in the group being like, do we have this yet? Like when we first started doing Conundrum Company, it was literally Sean. Sean went, is anyone healing? Is anyone healing? And then we went, no.
That is absolutely me. Yeah, because like I play a barbarian on Fridays because we needed a tank. I play a paladin in my home campaign because we needed someone who could hit but also heal, because there was only space for one more character. Like, I love the challenge of just like taking what the party needs and then figuring out a way for me to enjoy playing that class.
Though
it's a really good way to do it. I like that. What's your favorite paladin concept you've gotten to play?
Well, as I've said, I have only been playing as a PC for about a year. So
it's crazy.
I know, crazy. But the paladin that I'm playing right now, I love her very much. She is my sweet girl, and her name is Kithri. And you'll notice I'm super bad with creating last names for my characters. I'm just like, this one name sounds good. Awesome.
I mean, that's totally valid. Like, you don't have to have a last
Totally
name.
fair.
Right? But she is lovely. She's lawful good. But the thing that I've really loved about her character is that we have two lawful good players in the party, and they have wildly different concepts of what that means. I love that in a party. We fight all the time.
That's amazing.
It's great. It's so good. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So kind of segueing off of that question then, what about favorite race to play?
Oh, sorry. Give it to me again. Hit me
Mini.
again, Josh.
What is your favorite race to play?
Oh. This is actually a hard question for me. God, I love everyone. I've loved playing a Goliath recently. That's been very fun. But I think I have to say halflings because I'm a bad roller. So I love rolling a nat 1 and being like, nope, do it over. And I think they're sweet. I think they're plucky. I think they have...
Lucky.
They're surprising no matter what, you know? Like, if they're sweet, you're like, oh, cute. Like, my paladin is a halfling. She's very sweet, but she's, like, ruthless in battle, which is just fun and surprising. Or if you have a really aggressive halfling, everyone's like, what the fuck? Where did that come from? So they're just fun all around. I love them.
Super edgy halfling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halfling rogue.
That
Cute.
is absolutely valid. All right, how are you
Thank you
doing,
for that.
Sarah? How's your mini? Look, I'm learning. I'm not being mean.
It's doing pretty well. I've got this baby. This is all done. The pedestal's done. I'm working on her skin right now.
Oh.
These colors
scary.
are very bright. Yeah. But, you know, I'm living with it. I think they're nice.
All right. So you remember the thing I said about putting my paintbrush in my drinking water earlier?
Did you do that already?
Yeah. Let's put
Wow.
a timer up. Okay, within 25 minutes I did it.
Proud of you.
Let's see if we can make that time.
Proud of you. Proud of you.
Beautiful.
Jeez. We'll just, as we go on with the episodes, we'll just see how many times you do that. Like, how many?
I'll probably do it a
So-
couple times this
Time.
episode.
Josh puts in
It's
water.
Yeah.
We'll just have a count.
Yep.
I'm betting 3.
For this episode?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll be
I'm gonna
honest.
go-
Is it? Am I going low?
I'm
No,
gonna
I
go.
think that's a good reason.
I'm gonna go 5.
5.
So I have less faith in you. I don't know.
Faith in you.
So
don't know.
here's the real question though. Does me then attempting to drink out of that glass after the fact also count as a strike? Because I do that.
Yes. Yes.
No, I think you're just committing to,
The
really
one.
painting,
Just
becoming
committing.
a mini painter.
Just,
Yeah.
Okay.
You know? Are
You've
you
won
really
at
a
this
mini
point.
painter? Oh man, no. There's too many of the things I say could be advocated for doing bad things. Nobody eats paint.
Again, us talking about don't eat paint.
Don't play with knives, don't eat paint.
That's actually how I became a good mini painter. Was just drinking lots of paint. That's
Don't
a joke.
listen to this.
Don't drink
The
paint.
joke!
Don't
Disclaimer!
drink your paint.
This is joke.
No, chat.
Don't drink your
eat
paint.
And we've got people
All of
yelling
us
eat
don't.
paint.
Great. Did you see what you did? You see what you did? Okay.
Hope you're
I'll-
happy, Josh.
I'm trying to get us back on track. So Sarah, what's a
Hello.
class that you haven't played or one that you want to try next? A class you haven't, yeah.
I haven't played a sorcerer. I'd love to try playing an artificer next. I haven't played either of those classes. So yeah, I would love that. I'm not a min-maxer. I love creating my characters by their narrative. So I'll often make them purposefully weak in ways that they shouldn't be. And so I feel like sorcerer would be kiss of death for me because they have to be built to maximize their potential. So I normally am just don't hurt yourself like that, girl. Don't play a sorcerer. But I'd love to play an artificer.
Sorcerer was one of those that every time I talk to anyone, they're like, yeah, don't do that. They're like, don't go there if you don't want to think about lots of numbers and lots of spells and lots of. And I was
Yes.
like, okay. The first time
Fair
anybody was like, yeah, sorcery points, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know how
Oh,
to use
yeah.
spell slots until recently. Just
Don't make me.
yeah.
Or-
My ranger self doing a bard for the first time was like, ooh. This is a
Or-
lot of
Okay,
spells.
yeah. I played a bard for the first time on Saturday's stream.
Yeah.
I've DM'd for tons of bards, so I know how they work, but I'd never actually played one. And man, they get proficiency in everything.
Yeah.
Insane.
I adored Kelwyn, by the way. Kelwyn was great.
So good.
I love her so much.
Wolf Girl Bard, just amazing.
I'm here for
Oh.
it.
So good. I am not gonna lie, I'm getting art commissioned of that moment where she did this and had Buckingham on her head and then had flame because it was just such a good moment. I was like, I need to see this for real.
I love that.
I need it.
I'm
yeah.
so excited to see that! Oh
I
my
want all
God.
the art of Buckingham, specifically Buckingham.
Oh my god. Which
Entire
actually-
stream.
Pay the man.
I read the one shot, Josh,
Pardon?
when you posted it, and I am truly shocked at all the things that we avoided. It
You
was
guys did a good
wild.
job. You did. Yeah, you took a very unique route. So a lot of the stuff I was like, okay, we're just gonna completely change the one shot to fit this approach. But
Right.
I was excited to get to do it. It was so much fun.
It was so good. I know that this is supposed to be me getting interviewed, but I do have a question for you.
For me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I was reading the one shot and I saw that in how we played it, Flame was the reasonable one and Bolt was the irritable one. It was the other way around in the one shot. Was that a deliberate choice on your part, or?
No, Flame was the reasonable one in the one shot.
Oh. Oh no, I just exposed you.
No. Did I get the names backward at some point? Because Flame was
Yeah.
the reasonable one in the one shot.
No. Flame. Oh, I misspoke. Flame is not the reasonable one in the one shot.
Oh yes, that's correct. So yes, when I do it, I like fire.
Ah.
And I don't like
reason.
the-
I love that. That was the
Okay.
sentence. I loved that.
Here's the deal. I don't like that fire. So fire is my favorite element. Like if I ever like play into elemental stuff when I'm playing a character or DMing, a lot of the time I'll lean towards fire. I don't like that it is consistently portrayed as the temperamental element. And so I remove motifs like that intentionally. And I also find that like electricity and like lightning and that imagery like lends itself to aggression as well. And so
Right.
I like to
like a burst.
yeah, so that was intentional. But Flame was reasonable
Very cool.
in the one that I run, and then
I loved it.
yeah, but
To the point that, like, when I was reading it, I got upset because I was like, "No, Flame is my boy."
Flame is or as the cool kids call him, Flareon.
Flareon, yes,
Right,
of course. Long live Flareon.
Still,
That's right.
I'm still here for Sarah's Princess Mononoke Pokemon Trainer cosplay.
Yes,
Yes. Oh, it's happening. It's happening.
That's what I need.
100%.
I saw you
Yes.
you post in the general chat, or who did somebody did like a Photoshop right of
Yes, because I posted. Actually, they might be in chat right now. It's Andrew. Caldranon. I posted a picture
hi buddy
of Princess Mononoke, and I was like, "It's my character," and he reskinned it to look like Flame and Kelvin, and it was my favorite thing in the world. I loved it so much.
Andrew Calderon, you're the best. It was awesome. Made our day.
It's so good, so
Fantastic.
good.
But yes, yeah, I like combating the elemental motifs that are applied to answer your question.
Well, it's always fun to subvert a trope. I think. I mean, I'm the worst about that, but I love like giving my players moral choices and presenting something that looks one way but is another way. I fall into that all the time, and sometimes my players would be like, "Can we please stab something?" And I'm like, "Not without knowing that your actions have consequences."
Life lessons through D&D.
That's right.
I'm the worst.
Oh my
It's
god.
great.
Yeah, that was a fun session. It really was an absolute delight.
Yeah, it was
Fun
great.
to watch.
I think my question's next.
Mhm.
Okay, so we asked you what class you want to try next. What race do you want to try next?
You know something that I've always wanted to play, but I know I said that I'm a failure at being a hipster, but I am a little bit of a hipster in that if a lot of people do something, I'm like, and I'm trying to be better about it, so I should play this race. ASMRs? I
Okay.
think they're so pretty!
Yeah.
I want to be one! They're so pretty! And I know that's why people play them, but they're so pretty. And I've never played one, so I would love it. I fell in love with an ASMR from one of the Dimension 20 campaigns. They had a character, and I can't remember the character's name, but they were like the head of a pirate tavern, and they were just amazing, and I loved it. And yeah, so who wants? Oh, do you want me to play a dwarf next?
How did you know? I was like, so I mean, there's another thing that you're not bringing up here, which is the best race in Dungeons and Dragons,
Dwarves.
and yeah, dwarves, obviously.
Listen, all love to dwarves. I think they're great. What I love about dwarves is their longevity, without being, I mean, according to the D&D book, jerks, which, do we really follow all of the things that the D&D book tells us? Not me, but
No.
I just love that dwarves get to have, like, they don't live quite as long as elves, but they still live long enough to give them a little bit of perspective that can be fun for a party.
Great.
So, yeah.
Okay,
Big
thank
love to
you for
dwarves.
doing a PSA for dwarves. You can go now.
Yes.
Dwarves.
All right,
This is
guys. See you next
I'm just gonna
time.
clip
This is
that
how
and I'm just
far
gonna
I
go put that on
got.
TikTok.
line, just Sarah's coffee likes dwarves.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna like cut it all together too, where it'd be like, well, you know, the race that I want to play next is dwarves. Dwarves are really neat.
Currently, for a long time, the race that I really wanted to try out was, I say Genasi, other people say Ganassi.
Yeah,
I don't know how it's
both
pronounced.
ways, and I'm playing one right now, and I still don't know.
Yeah. But I'm playing a Water Ganassi rogue right now, and that's really fun.
Oh, okay.
So, nice to have that little dream realized, you know?
Tell us more about them. What's their deal?
Her deal is sad, and honestly, I'm very afraid of what my DM is going to do with her. So,
and if your
Think
friends
that I
are
would-
in here, you don't have to actually answer that. If there's like players that you play
oh no,
with,
I don't think
okay.
they're in here.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not.
Tell us your whole backstory.
I don't think they're
Give
on
us all your
TikTok.
secrets. Okay.
Give us all your secrets.
So they might be, but as far as I know, only my DM is on TikTok, and the rest of them are just on Twitter. I think
Okay.
we're safe. Anyway, so I often create my backstories with a lot of gaps in it, so that the DM can hurt me more.
Mhm.
I love it. And so I created this character as it's set in post-apocalyptic New York, where this like underground race of elves kind of rose up and ruled the world with magic for like 200 years. And then this great war happened and everything fell apart. And then all of the races were able to like come and live in this post-apocalyptic world. But now the world is much different. So, canonically, in this world, the Genasi are like more on the edges of society. They don't have like a burrow that's theirs or anything like that. So, most of them are like rogues or thieves or just like whatever they have to do to get by kind of thing. So, my character was a little thief for all of her childhood, and she had a little thief friend. And they were really good at talking their way out of things, and she was really good at getting into places. And so they were like this perfect team of like infiltrate, but then escape with words if needed. And then they went to the wrong house, and a powerful elven mage banished them to the abyss, because I like to hurt my characters. And they were both there for 5 years, and then she escaped, but she wasn't able to save her friend. Her friend's still in the abyss, and that is where we started the campaign. And my DM just told me that we're going down to West Virginia, where something that seems like it's from hell has risen out of the earth. And I'm like, you bastard, I know it's the abyss. Don't lie to me. So yeah, I'm gonna get hurt, and I'm ready for it.
That's amazing. I love
Gonna
that
get
setting.
hurt.
That sounds very cool.
Yeah, it
It's
does
a
sound
really fun
cool.
setting. Yeah, it's my DM has cooked up a lot of lore that he's doing a really good job at not telling us about, even though he really wants to.
The DM's greatest woe. I constantly
I
want to
know.
tell folks what I have planned for them.
You make so much cool stuff, and you want to tell everyone about it, but then you're like, no, then they know the secrets.
Right. You can't be telling the secrets.
Mm-hmm. Chat, don't hurt me about Fry's dog. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh
I'm gonna start
no!
crying on
From
stream.
Futurama?
Yeah.
Yes. Saddest episode that they had.
That is a sad one.
Jeez.
Jeez, it was.
Had the same mustache as Scruffy. I'm Scruffy.
I'm just sad now.
Why are we doing this to ourselves?
We love it.
We
That's
love
true.
pain.
Pain is good.
I love
We
the
all
emotional
play
trauma of
D&D.
D&D. Honestly, every time that Zach, I'm like, oh, Zach hurts us, and he's like, I'm sorry, and I'm like, no, do more.
I'm here
I
for the
want
angst.
to feel the angst.
When you're like, I'm here for the angst. Thanks for coming.
Here for the angst stuff?
Jeez.
Do you mind?
Here for the A.
We're coming along.
All right.
Things are happening.
Doing it.
You're getting stuff painted. How's the wash?
I'm very impressed. Oh, go.
No. Now I want to see what you're impressed about.
Oh, no. I'm not impressed with my work.
Oh.
But I am impressed with the fact that I've been able to keep painting and talking at the same time.
That is.
I know you were
little
worried
victory.
about that, and then you're like,
I was.
I'm painting the whole time.
That's a feat.
Killing it.
It truly is.
I'm gonna add it to my feats. I must have leveled up.
So
let's...
tell us your story, Sarah, then, of how you became a TikTok content creator. Like,
Yeah. So I didn't download TikTok as a way to find D&D content at all. I think I downloaded it like in November of last year, just to be like, what is this cringy thing the kids are into these days? And then I found like funny original content, and like I'm a comedian in real life, so I was like, oh, I love that. And so I stayed on, and I made like maybe 2 or 3 videos, and I was like, you know what? I don't really have like the inspiration to make this kind of original content. I haven't found like what I want to do. So I just left it alone for like months and months. And then I found like one D&D TikToker, and I was like, this is on here? This is on here? And I fell down a hole so fast. And then one night I was playing in my campaign, and I came home, and I was just so hyped from the campaign that I posted this like silly compilation video. It was not well done. I think I spliced together 3 different videos because I couldn't figure out how to switch from the 15-second to the 60-second timer. Like, it was just a whole mess of a video. But in like 6 hours, it got more likes than anything I'd ever put on there. And I was like, is this what the people want? Because it is what I want. And I put like 2 or 3 more videos out, and they were like, yeah, it is what we want. I was like, great. And it's been the best thing because like I have met so many friends, and I'm playing so many games, and it's just such a great community. I love it so much. So yeah.
oh, that's so like heartening. It's true too. Like, you know, it's just nuts. There's so many wonderful people to get to play with and hang out with and meet. That's awesome. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Parker, how's your dragon? Fine.
Yeah, I'm just doing what you said.
Yeah.
I'm just figuring it out. I don't know if you
You're
can tell any
probably-
sort of difference yet.
God, it's just so cute though.
It really is. It's Dragons and Beasties on Instagram makes like these, and some of them come painted. I wanted to paint mine because I'm stupid. And then they also have like plush of this dragon, and that's Sean, I think, already ordered it to be Bim's, which is super cute. So
Bims is
it's very cute. He is cute.
wow. Inspiration from your fantastically painted dragon.
Yeah.
I love that. Hard love.
He's adorable. And immediately the whole party, don't kill it.
Yeah.
Oh God,
kill
I'm
it.
so afraid for Samson every day of my life.
Well, without giving away spoilers, I'm less worried for Samson
True.
now.
I am less worried for him now. Very true. But man, when Zach put me in that puzzle, and I won't do too many spoilers either, but like, and I had to use my intelligence to keep him safe. That was stressful.
Zadi
Very
Plotty.
much so. Zadi
Zadi
Plotty up in the, oh boy. Oh, we already got our shippers in the chat. Listen, I'm here with you. I feel
Shipper?
you.
Yes. So
I'm excited.
we can't explain the ship really without doing spoilers.
Right. But it's not weird.
No?
well, it's
No.
less weird than it sounds.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. It's definitely weird,
Yeah.
but it's not as weird as you think.
it's certainly a lot better than the siblings that got shipped.
Yeah, don't ship siblings. If there's anything that you take away from this stream, it's don't juggle knives, don't eat paint, and don't ship siblings.
Unless you
We're
want to be a
teaching
good
all sorts
paint,
of things.
if you want to be a good mini painter, do all of those things.
That's true.
I won't be doing any of
Ignore
that.
Everything I just said.
I won't be
I'll
doing
never
any
do
of
this.
those things.
I
I'll never be
kid.
good. Never be
Okay.
good.
What? People talk about tech theater in the chat?
Well,
What are we
are
talking
they?
tech theater? Sorry. Tech theater is my passion. But love that.
this
Love
com-
that for you, chat.
The welcome in community is so freaking awesome. Like, I know we've only been around for a few weeks, but hot dang, can we just like talk about how fun our chats have been every single session we've had?
Chats are so fun.
Yeah.
Y'all are the best. Wolf facts? Amazing.
Wolfax.
I
Enjoyed
Iconic.
those.
And
We need a
listen,
shirt.
we might give you shit for the shipping of the siblings, but we know that it just comes from a place of enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Just wanting those ships to sail.
Yeah.
just got to get some ships going, you know?
Ships
Just
are
need some
important
ships in the
part.
harbor. Need some ships in the harbor. That's all it
Bring
is.
them to port, baby. Alright, hold on.
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
adjust the headset. Ha. Hair was getting in the way of my masterpiece.
Important.
Yes.
Jeez.
Next
Oh,
question.
this is a backless dress.
Next question.
yeah.
Question. Yes.
Give it to me.
Parker, you want to do this one?
Not to call you out, Josh, but you skipped things. Which one?
No, I kept asking questions because you were so focused on your mini painting, and I didn't want to interrupt you. So I was like, okay, I'll just ask another one. I tell you what,
Okay.
you paint Bims, and
Okay.
I'll handle the question. So we
You
are.
can handle the questions.
What's your
Listen,
biggest?
painting's hard.
It is hard, and I keep putting
Painting
it
is
down
hard.
because I'm like, okay, I'm good. I've done a bit. All right, Sarah, what is your biggest hobby outside of D&D?
I mean, before about a year ago, I would tell you improv. But now I just do that. That's not a hobby anymore. But besides that, I'd say that I'm a big reader. I know that's like kind of a big general hobby, but like that was literally my personality as a kid. Like my parents would be like, stop reading, which you don't hear. But yeah, so I love me a good book. I've been known to smash the keys on the piano.
That makes a lot more
And-
sense. Got it.
That's my steps. You know, on the computer, I just take a hammer to them, and it brings me joy.
This
really
is a
good
weird alt
relief.
art form. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
important.
Yeah. I mean, when D&D becomes your life and improv becomes your life, I guess you're just living your hobby at that point too.
That's the thing. It's like people are like, so what are your hobbies? And I'm like, I've monetized so many of my hobbies. So like, what do I call them now?
Yeah.
Does it count as a hobby if you make money off of it now?
Right. Yeah, I used to do improv like in college, just as like, ooh, I'm an improv comedian. And then, which I know improv has a bad name, but I promise it's not as embarrassing as TV makes it to look if you're playing with good people. If you're playing with bad people, it's more embarrassing than TV makes it to look. But yeah, I got into it, and then I moved to a new city, and I started working with some good people, and then I started being able to like do it as part of like not my sole form of income, because you know that struggling actor life, but a part of it, which was great.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, kind of, I mean, along those lines. So you're a copywriter,
Yes.
right? For D&D. How did you get into
Yes.
that?
Uh,
Big question.
Yeah, it is. I used to just be a freelance copywriter. And I did that for a while, and it sucked my soul out of my body. I am not to like brag on myself, but I'm very good as a writer. I have a good command of like grammar and spelling in the English language, and I spent a large part of my teenage years writing mass amounts of Marvel fan fiction. So I think all of these things make me a very qualified person to write. So I just started my own freelance copywriting business, and I would write bios and mission statements for companies and professionals. And that was a lucrative job, but it was not fun at all. And so after like a little bit of that, I hit major burnout and I quit. And I was like, I'm never doing copywriting again. And then I thought, well, maybe I could do this in a more creative way that wouldn't make me want to tear my eyes out from staring at a computer screen and dealing with angry businessmen. And so I tried D&D. People who buy D&D content are way nicer than businessmen. So I just kind of started it, saw if there was a market for it. And honestly, because of TikTok, my copywriting business blew up. So, yeah.
Really?
Yes. Oh, completely. Because I was working, I'm very much a jack of all trades type of person, very bardic. I was working as a chef, and I did a little bit of copywriting on the side, and then COVID came and was like, you don't got a job. And I was like, oh no. So I posted like one video on TikTok that was like, anybody want to hire me? And hundreds of people were like, yes. Like, I have too much work, which is the best problem to have.
I mean, that's amazing that's
It's
come
amazing.
out of that as well.
It's
like,
amazing.
oh my god, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, backtracking a little bit, and I know chat's curious too, tell us about one of your Marvel fanfics.
Yep. People are asking about your AO3 account. I just would like to know.
No.
Come on.
I'd like to know
let's
for
really get into this.
my own.
Listen, I'm
my
starting
own.
a Patreon. You've got to be on the $1 million tier pay.
The $1 million tier.
My new goal is to be close enough friends with Sarah so I can get access to Marvel fanfics.
Listen, it's okay. I think that
What ships
I wrote
though?
a lot of. I was big on the Bucky Steve ship, of
Ah,
course.
it's a good
I
ship.
love my boys.
So disappointed in the last movie?
So disappointed.
Okay. Yep.
But yes, love my boys, love the sweet boys. But you know how teenagers are embarrassing?
Mhm.
Sorry to any teenagers in the chat. I was an embarrassing teenager. Not
I was
all
the
of
coolest
teenagers are
teenager
embarrassing.
you've ever met. Just saying.
You
I
definitely-
don't
Yeah,
understand.
I'm sure you were.
I was super cool.
I'm gonna ask Kat.
I was an embarrassing teenager, so a lot of my Marvel fanfic was self-insertion with just like a thin veneer. Like I was like, this is the character's name. Strange that her personality is like mine. Don't look into it.
Her name is Saraha.
Did you also do the like somebody X reader? Like were you the
I was the queen of Loki X Reader fanfiction.
Oh my god, thank god you said Loki.
People
I was gonna be
ate
like,
that
please,
shit up.
please. Sarah, no, now I have to know. I
No.
wonder if I read some of your stuff. Because you
Maybe.
said I did. I have the worst, so I can't, I personally, like, getting into books is really hard for me. I love audiobooks, but, like, my attention span is so everywhere because I'm doing a million things all the time.
For
So
sure.
I read fan fiction all the time
yeah.
because I want to
Great
read at least once a day,
Mhm.
but I can't sit down and read a book without reading the whole book. So, like,
Understandable.
So I'm the worst about, like, I get a book and then I read it all day, I forget that to do anything else. So when I first got into Critical Role, fun fact, I read every single piece of Widowmock fiction, even the bad things, even like the worst written, which luckily in Critical Role isn't that bad.
Ones. You're like,
Even cringe ones, I did it. I could tell you, like, I updated it every day and could tell you if there were new ones. Like, my friends and I were ridiculous. I knew a couple people that wrote it. So I was like that with Loki, so I'm, like, curious if I read your stuff now.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm curious.
You may have, Oh God, am I gonna regret this heavily? Most
Who knows?
of my
Don't think about it.
fanfiction was on Tumblr.
Ooh.
Oh.
So if you were a patron of Tumblr, that is where you would have found it.
I was.
I was not on Archive of Our Own. I was not on fanfiction.net. Although,
be in
even though
Tumblr.
I stopped writing fanfiction around 18 or 19, but I read fanfiction probably until about a year ago. And every once in a while, I still dip in, and I'm like, good.
I
I
literally
can read really good ones.
Oh, yeah.
literally for TikTok lives, I read Critical Role fanfiction live not a few months ago.
Oh, so at one point, so Sarah probably will know. Oh God.
Oh God.
If I say like,
Hey, you don't encourage them, monster. Sorry, continue.
you're
Parker.
good. No, you're good. Oh gosh, what was it? Now I'm gonna have to like remember. So the worst Harry Potter fanfiction ever is what?
Oh, it's based on My Immortal. Yeah.
It's My Immortal. So
Yeah.
when I started doing Harry Potter cosplay and getting really into it, I got to where I would write My Immortal, or I would read My Immortal on live. It was awful. I read it with my best
That's
friend, reading all
awful.
of the author's notes. It was literally hard I had to drink to get through reading it. And I never
But,
finished
okay,
it.
Something really sweet. The author of My Immortal published an anonymous article maybe like a year ago saying that like they're a professional writer now. So like all that passion found technique and became successful. I love that.
Honestly, how cool would that be to be like, I was that one cringeworthy person that actually was like, hey, I turned it into a thing.
I made it real. Yeah,
That's
I
true.
love it so much.
Yeah. Well, that's like the majority of our questions.
Oh, yeah.
If chat wants to ask some questions, I'll keep an eye on
Got some
chat.
questions for me, chat?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on. I'll
Ask
ask
me
them.
anything but my handle on Tumblr. I won't give it to you.
They're already looking.
Oh,
I'm sure they're gonna find it.
Wait. Oh yeah, a few people have claimed to be here. Yeah, no, they didn't give their name, which was why I believed it, because I feel like people would come forward and be like, I'm the person who wrote My Immortal. This girl was like, it's one of the most embarrassing things of my life, but I'm successful now, so y'all could suck it. It was great.
It's valid.
Okay. What's your favorite role, Sarah, that you've portrayed in the theater?
Let me think. I've had so many fun roles. Can I answer it with 2?
See, why not?
You can answer it with 2.
Yay! So my favorite role in terms of like one that I truly loved all around 100% was this character called Henrietta Leavitt, who is based on history. She was the woman who posited when women weren't allowed to be astronomers that the universe was past our own Milky Way galaxy, and proved it with her research. But back then, the world was segregated in science so much that women didn't have access to telescopes. They couldn't use them. So she was against a lot of things to be able to make the discoveries she did, and somebody wrote a play about her, and I got to play her, and she's an amazing historical figure and just a very powerful person, and so it was just a dream to be able to like play that kind of person. But that said, I often get typecast, which I love, into the strong, independent woman, which Henrietta was. Like the idea of someone who is very powerful, has their own opinions and ideas, and isn't afraid to say them. And just last season, I got cast as Beth in Little Women, who's canonically the sweetest character to ever exist in literature. And I was like, I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this. And so I almost turned down the role, but last minute I accepted it, and it was one of the best experiences of my life, just like learning to be that person and to live in that world. It was amazing. It was awesome. So those are my favorites.
That's amazing. All right. I have a question. You're going to kill me for it.
Oh no.
Fire trucks or ambulances?
Police cars that are going to come and investigate. No!
He literally paid bits to get that up there. Okay,
Oh my
real
God.
genuine though. Good like nice
Yes.
questions. Noah, I got you.
Amazing.
Um,
Gotcha, Noah.
what do you consider?
Oh yeah, I feel like we should explain that to chat. Sorry. Noah's the worst. Now it's explained. Let's
That was
Context
the whole
provided.
explanation.
the
Oh yeah, no, legitimately. Yeah.
yeah. So what do you consider your DM style? Like, do you fudge rolls to save PC lives? Do you avoid player character deaths, or do you just completely roll with the deaths? Do you like apply them for drama? Like, what's your methodology there? Having, especially like
Yeah,
learning that DM process.
for sure. I think that's a tricky question to answer. I like to make jokes that I'm like a cruel DM that like is like I hold your lives in the balance. But I never fudge a dice roll, but I do sometimes, especially when I first started DMing, I would adjust the stat block of a monster if I had improperly balanced an encounter. So I think that's the farthest that I would go in the way of fudging. However, I think that I usually tailor my DM style. I like to have a meeting with my players beforehand and ask them what kind of campaign they want to play. Like, do they want a really dark, gritty campaign where people like feel things, or do they kind of want to not face the idea of their character dying? Because sometimes I play with some newbie players who are just like, I just want to figure this out, and I don't want to have to worry about, like, they will freak out the moment their character goes down and has to make death saves, and I'm like, you have 6 rolls. But so like it just really depends. However, I will say the one thing that lives in all of my DM styles, which I've hinted at before, is that I am a sucker for a moral conundrum. Everything has meaning in my campaigns, to the point that sometimes my characters, if I'm like, hey, don't knock on that door, they're like, why should we not knock on that door? And I'm like, the NPC's grumpy. And they're like, but what does it mean? And I'm like, nah, they're just grumpy. So yeah, that is my one thing that tends to find its way into every campaign, is like choosing to kill a major character isn't always like a matter of like, oh, they're evil, so you have to kill them. Like, one of my the first one shot that I ever wrote, had an orc who was holding an elf captive, who they didn't know that, but they were supposed to go in and kill this elf and get information from him. And somebody else had already gotten to him and basically told them this whole story about how he was evil, and they had to decide if they trusted this orc who had taken him captive or fought this orc who had taken him captive. And I just enjoyed the angst at that table as they tried to figure out what to do. I waited for like 2 minutes, and then I was like, it's too late, roll initiative! And it was fun. So yeah, that was back when, as much as I loved playing that campaign, that was back when I had not quite learned about the more unsavory parts of D&D, in terms of like, maybe stay away from making certain people bad kind of thing. I have learned. So, but even then, I still was making them make those choices.
I think you touched upon something that's like critically important to every DM's journey, which is knowing your players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's this weird balance of, you may have 2 players who will respond to things very differently in the same campaign together, and you may feel comfortable killing one of those player characters and not the other one. So then you have to
100%.
balance of, yeah, and if you're like, if you feel like that's something you're comfortable with, how do you still keep the game equitable between those 2 players? Because you also can't be gunning for blood with one character and not with another. It's a fascinating balance. I mean, you made 100 billion, like, also the unsavory components, just like inclusivity and social justice through D&D is critically important.
Very important.
Man, what an answer. And probably a good one to end the session on, because we've been at this for an hour.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I know,
Well,
right?
I didn't finish, but I got pretty far.
Yeah, show us what you guys got.
Yeah,
I
this is
love
my
that
pretty
skin tone.
lady. Thank you.
Parker, how about
What
you?
you got?
My dragon just looks like a dragon still, guys. It's just a dragon.
I
Can't
love
even really
them.
tell about it yet. But
Listen, I
I'm
love
working on it.
I bet you it looks
Work.
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
How far do you get, Josh?
Yeah,
This man.
because I made you read all the questions.
This man has orange pants. Now, 'cause
Perfect.
he's a Broncos football player.
Oh,
That's the only thing I know about sports.
That's okay.
And this gentleman has had all of his recoat over the shade done, which again, not super. Hold on. Here we go.
Yeah.
we love to see it.
So pretty.
Ooh, he's got a chain on his axe. That's
I like
Sure
it.
does.
That's smart.
So you
Never
can
lose
see
your axe.
as I hold. Yeah, that's right. It'll just swing straight into his own thigh. What you can see there is you see how the musculature blah 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 has that deep shade to it, and then the brightness comes back out again. That's the drop from just using a flesh tone shade in there. It adds definition to the mini, and then you just highlight
Wow.
back over it. Now my camera's losing its brain.
Very cool.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it here. Sarah,
Thanks for coming, y'all.
you're the
Oh,
best.
and yeah, it was my joy to come. Yeah, please. This was so fun.
And Parker, thank you as always for painting with us.
Always here. So
And also thank you guys we broke 2,000 followers on Twitch.
yeah,
Yesterday or Saturday,
crazy.
which is insane. You guys are amazing. Catch Sarah in our Rolling Tides campaign, and hopefully other things soon as well. Catch Parker in Conundrum Company, and in other things that are coming very soon. We've got the Cause One Shot that Sean and you guys are coordinating, which is going to be amazing. So, yeah. Stay safe, everybody. Bye! Prep, I'm looking for the button. There it is. Ha ha!